Okay, moving on with the ingredients that we use in our products, we're going to talk about shungite, which is a very special mineral.
Yes, is one of our favorite. So the shungite, and we're in this particular topic is dealing with shungite powder and microwaves. Now, shungite powder is often promoted for its ability to absorb and shield against electromagnetic fields, including those from microwaves, Wi-Fi, and 5G. Now, depending on where you get the search, in a lot of this presentation, the search is coming from an AI output that we try to vet with documentation. But take that with a grain of salt as well. And we also encourage everyone to verify everything we're saying in this presentation as well. But we do our best to give citation at the end of our presentation. Now, some sources claim that shungite can neutralize up to 90% of electromagnetic waves, particularly due to its high carbon content and presence of fullerenes, which is like a hollow carbon molecule with antioxidant properties. Actually, the shungite molecule is nested fullerenes, which makes it very special in being able to clean up all kinds of contaminants, including nuclear radiation. However, scientific evidence on this effectiveness is limited and mixed. And having said that, it goes through the study talking about, for example, research such as electromagnetic shielding effectiveness of lightweight and flexible ultra-thin shungite plates from an article at a scientific journal indicates that shungite can exhibit high dynamic conductivity and microwave absorption, especially in composite materials. And this is thin. This is a thin layer of shungite within a composite, kind of like what we do, due to its disordered carbon structure and mineral impurities like magnetite and pyrite. This suggests a potential shielding properties in engineered applications, but not necessarily in raw powder form, although they probably need that for this composite. Shungite powder is sometimes mixed with water in a paste for skin applications, and it may be incorporated also into paints, wall materials for environmental shielding. There are resorts that will paint the walls of shungite, use shungite stone and all kinds of stoneware and tiles to create what are called meditation rooms. And they're basically shungite Faraday cages. And the clients swear up and down who go in these. Also, shungite has been used for remediation of the bee decline, for colony collapse, using the same method, creating shungite paints, painting the beehives in the same way. Now, while anecdotal reports suggest benefits of EMF protection and wellness, no conclusive clinical or peer-reviewed studies confirm that these effects in real-world settings. Now, that's the AI hallucinating, I would say, because their whole websites,
There's tons of clinical
there's
studies.
tons
Yeah.
of clinical studies. There's a lot of information using shungite in concrete building, scientific research from Russia, from scientists talking about how shungite needs to be incorporated in all kinds of building materials for EMF remediation. There's a lot of work out there, and not to mention the independent websites, especially from beekeepers that are using shungite as well. So it is well established. It is a real world setting. That's where it came from. So
That's why if you're using AI for your research, you always need to check it, right?
yeah, but we left it in there so that you can see how we can actually go through the data, but at the same time be critical based on we have that information since we've been running this business for more than 8 years and dealing with this research.
And one thing I find really fascinating about shungite, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, the molecular structure of the shungite molecule,
Yes,
what it does, what it's been shown to do is it will take radiation
yes,
and draw that radiation inside of the nucleus of
yes,
its molecule, and it just disappears.
yeah. So that
The
was from
radiation just disappears inside of the structure
yeah,
of
that study
this.
was from a Russian science paper, and that described how the small number of fullerenes that are within a given amount of shungite. And I know some people say, well, the elite shungite has more of these fullerenes. Well, the fullerenes is not just the buckyball, soccer ball that y'all think of as a carbon fullerene. It's actually an onion layer. It's fullerene within fullerene within fullerene. So sometimes there's three or more different cages. And when it comes in contact with let's say you have a radioactive contamination zone,
Mhm.
like a Fukushima, it will take that isotope, that radioactive particle, into its inner cage, and the particle basically falls apart. The scientists don't know how's that able to do that.
And that's why they're using shungite to clean up nuclear waste, like in Fukushima and different areas.
Now, it's very special mineral because it's only found, this allotrope of carbon is only found in one place in the world, and that's in Karelia, Russia.
So some say that it was a meteorite
Mm.
that fell and hit the earth at one point in time. But when you look at the properties of shungite and this amazing mineral that's found in one place in the world, it's almost as if God said, here's your vacuum cleaner for all of the pollution on the planet.
I do
You
find
know,
that I do find that
feels like
fascinating.
to me.
Certain things in this on the planet, there's only one location. Certain minerals only exist in one part of the world. Another example of that is tanzanite, which
Yes,
only exists
in one place
in
in the world.
Tanzania,
In
the beautiful
Tanzania, yeah.
blue gemstone mineral. Yeah.
So with that said, shungite is just probably one of our favorite stones to use in our composites. And we are asked all the time, what's the difference between orgonite and shungite? Because they, you could go and you could buy just shungite rocks, just shungite powder,
Right.
Shungite shapes like pyramids and squares and different things. And they're different prices. Some of them are much lower prices. So just to really clarify this for people, so orgonite is a blend of different ingredients that creates a field of energy that is passively emitted from the composite, bringing all of the properties of each ingredient into the environment in what's known as the orgone energy field. Okay. Shungite is just one ingredient.
Yes.
And it's amazing and it has its own properties, but it does not have an orgone energy field effect to it. So you could just put an ingredient there, but it's not going to do the same thing as orgonite does.
Correct.
I hope that helps, right? Continuing on our shungite journey, here are a couple of the studies that the AI said did not exist.
That's why you can tell it's hallucinating.
Right. So we'll have Tavon just briefly walk us through these particular studies.
Okay, so this one on the left is an example of the shielding effect of mineral shungite during electromagnetic irradiation of rats. So they did a study on the effect of 37 gigahertz radiation. Again, these radiation studies are right there if you research it on and on these particular rats, dealing with all kinds of radiation types. The polarization of this radiation. They emitted these rats, and these rats were shielded with shungite, and it decreased the severity of damage produced by the high frequency electromagnetic radiation. So again, there's a lot going on with the study. The study was intended to show the damage of radiation, microwave radiation, on these animals. So you have that, but yet you got 5G and 6G using these exact same frequencies for telecommunications, but also gives a solution about what shungite can do. On the right, you have radar shielding and microwave absorbing properties of composite materials based on shungite. Now, anytime you see the word composite materials, what you need to think of is anything like your carbon fiber parts, where they take either a cloth or powders and mold it within a mold that contains a resin of some kind, usually an epoxy-based resin. That's what a composite is. And so the study is talking about parts that have shungite that are made from an epoxy-based composite. Shungite is considered as a filler of composite materials. It is a natural composite of carbon nanoparticles with a variety of micro and nano-sized mineral impurities that give a high conductivity and electromagnetic radar shielding properties. The radar absorbing and shielding characteristics of the composite material is based on shungite and urea formaldehyde resin, which is a type of resin studied in the 500 megahertz to 4 gigahertz range of frequencies. The effect of the thickness and sample has the electromagnetic properties of the study composite is determined. And so that's why I read that paragraph is to show you that shungite is indeed used in this application under study as radar shielding. Now, which implies that if we were to incorporate shungite in composites that were, let's say, part of the housing for the the emitter from, let's say, a cell tower, we might have, along with orgonite-based composites, you might have a way to do telecommunications without having to harm the environment or the population.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Yes,
Technology doesn't have to be harmful.
doesn't have to be.
It could be invented, created so that it is useful and safe for humans.
Yes.
So now here's the next part is my favorite thing about shungite. And by the way, we use shungite in every single one of our products. It's part of our Orgone blend of powders. So it's not like some products don't have shungite. They all have shungite because it's such an amazing, amazing mineral. So shungite can save the bees. And if you know anything
Beautiful.
about the bee population problems and bees dying. If the bees died, the world would run out of food
Quickly.
very quickly, right? And bees are very, very sensitive animals. They can pick up on frequencies much better than humans can, and they behave accordingly, right? So let's talk about the shungite and the bees.
Okay, so Derek Condit, a beekeeper and co-founder of Cosmic Reality, initiated the Shungite Beehive Project in 2017 to explore shungite's potential in protecting bees from environmental stressors, particularly electromagnetic frequencies. His early experiments involved painting hives with shungite-infused paint and placing shungite stones at the hive's entrance. After implementing these methods, Condit observed a significant increase in hive health with no colony collapse disorder. Losses for over 4 years, improved honey production, and stronger bee population. And it continues. These are accounts of people seeing the same thing. Catherine, known as Shungite Lady in Mallorca, expanded on this work in 2019. She tested shungite powdered hives against non-treated ones, finding shungite colonies showed increased honey output, more queen bees, and larger, more vibrant bee community. It's beautiful. Laboratory studies confirmed the honey from shungite hives had exceptionally high frequencies, indicating superior quality. She uses shungite chips and powder at hive entrances, allowing bees to naturally pick up shungite particles as they enter and exit. So they track them in and out, and it becomes part of their system, and the bees end up healthier for it. Scientific and anecdotal evidence supports shungite's role in mitigating EMF exposure, which has been linked to disrupted bee navigation. Wow, I didn't know that. Weakened immune systems, and colony collapse disorder. Shungite's unique C60 Fullerene molecules are believed to neutralize harmful frequencies, acting like a Faraday cage, which is only a small component because there's another study dealing with Faraday cages. While peer-reviewed studies specific to shungite in hives remain limited. Well, this is why you need someone like these two researchers to bring light to to this discovery. While peer-reviewed studies specific to shungite in hives remain limited, numerous beekeepers report increased hive calmness, improved overwintering survival, and reduced disease. Practical applications include painting hive exteriors with shungite-infused paint, placing shungite nuggets or powder at hive entrances, using shungite in water dishes near hives for hydration and energetic support, integrating shungite with other natural methods like colloidal silver for antimicrobial protection. And that's amazing.
Well, I think we use our Orgone products around our garden. We have a big garden here, and many of the plants that we grow depend on bees to pollinate the plants so we could have fruit and vegetables and things. So I think that the Orgone energy with all that shungite,
Yes.
the Orgone energy in general, but also the shungite factors is what brings all the bees to us.
Very important.
We have plenty of bees. They pollinate things very well. And we've actually been able to conquer our bad pest problem, like the wasps. The wasps don't help.
No.
They just sting and take over. But the bees we love, and we have tons of them here, pollinating all of the flowers.
And they help with that problem too.
And they're happy and they're healthy here. And I think we've got a neighbor that keeps some beehives, so I'm sure they're flying over from the beehives over there to come to our garden. And obviously, we always eat the local honey because that's really, really good for your health, your immune system, for things like allergies. So yeah,
Yeah,
shungite
if you
helping the
can,
bees is a really big deal.
yes, we'll always definitely get your local honey.
So speaking of plants in the garden, let's just briefly talk about EMF effects on plants.
Now, EMF polarization influences plant growth primarily through changes in metabolic activity, enzyme function, and stress responses, very similar to living beings too. Though most research focuses on magnetic field intensity and frequency rather than the left or right-handed polarization specifically. While circularly polarized EMFs are not widely studied in plants, research shows that electromagnetic fields in general, especially at high frequencies, can alter plant physiology. The study goes into talking about how certain frequencies can affect the length in cord ceilings and also decrease chlorophyll and sugar levels. They also suffer this just like with mammals and human beings, oxidative stress. EMFs act as an environmental stressor, increasing reactive oxygen species, which can damage cells if not balanced by antioxidants. So if you find yourself you have to take antioxidants for an electromagnetic problem. Fascinating. Enzyme activity, EMF exposure increases um, uh, alpha and beta amylase activity, which involves starch breakdown in germinating seeds, which decreases activity in adult leaves, suggesting tissue-specific responses. So the cells respond negatively to some of these frequencies. Also, gene expression is affected as well, affecting the calcium signaling pathways. Also, changes occur not only in exposure to tissue, but also in distant, unexposed parts of the plant as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be in the line of sight of the incoming electromagnetic signal.
Wow.
What I also wanted to say when dealing with this left hand, right hand like frequency wave or signal, it one versus the other is one isn't better than the other. They both can be damaging. Um, when you read into this, different frequencies cause different problems, whether it's left hand or right hand. You
Hmm.
literally have to know what the frequency is and its polarization to be specific. In general, though, there are things you can, in this case, like antioxidant minerals you can take, but also shielding protocols to take as well. Many people become sensitive to EMFs, which can cause a number of health issues. Using Orgone energy products in your environment can protect you from EMF toxicity and help to restore a harmonious environment that aids in better health and well-being. The results vary from better sleep, pain relief, better growth in plants, food preservation, better mental clarity, and an overall calming effect. These handmade devices are a composite of shungite, steel, iron oxide, quartz, and brass powders all encased in an epoxy resin. They emit a passive grounding field of Orgone energy. When used in your environment, these devices transform the harmful energy given off by electromagnetic frequencies or EMFs that come from 5G, your cell phones, Wi-Fi, and electronic devices into healthy, life-preserving energy. These Orgone energy devices are available in different shapes and sizes for a variety of different uses. Pendants that you wear, phone shields to use on your electronics, sleeping pods to help protect you at night, and charge plates to use for food preservation, pyramids to grid your property, and garden pucks to help your plants grow. They even have construction tiles to help transform your space. And now there are products for your pets and headset protectors. To learn more, read the science and testimonials and save 10%. Click the link in the description below.